The NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour rolls into Seekonk Speedway in Seekonk, Massachusetts. They call it the Cement Palace, one of the fantastic short tracks in New England. How about Matt Hirschman going for 3 victories in a row at this racetrack after last year in a late race restart was able to better the young Austin Beers to capture the win. Austin Beers, though, he knew that one got away after dominating last season. He's back, he's focused, he's ready to compete for a win here tonight. But then you go back and look at North Wilkesboro Speedway, where Craig Lutz was the winner, and for the first time in his career, he comes in as a championship point leader in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. The J R Precast 150 is next from Seekonk Speedway.
There's nothing like it. You can hear the roar of the motors. You'll feel the ground shake beneath your feet. It's what modifieds are all about.
Cars, roar to life, we're underway.
So much on the line for this one today.
Trying to do the crossover.
Right to the bottom.
Nice move.
Angle again on the front stretch.
Looks to the inside. Toby throws the
Here
block.
comes Monsignor.
He drives away. He will take the checkered flag. They are trying to make this track wide. To the tap to the bumper.
Oh,
he's going to win one. This is what it all comes down to.
Here they come at the stripe. It's going to be a drag race.
Down to the line. Well, the NASCAR Whelen Modifieds are rolling. Today, Seekonk Speedway hosts the 4th race of the 2025 season. It's the J R Precast 150. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Joe Koss alongside Ben Dodge. And Ben, this racetrack, they call it the Action Track of the East, and that's for good reason.
It certainly is. It is the Cement Palace. It is a traditional short track event. And today, you are going to witness the first stop of the short track series. We've been at the start of the year, New Smyrna Speedway. We went on to Thompson Speedway and then on to North Wilkesboro. Looking at the track facts today here at Seekonk, this facility opened in 1946. It is, of course, a 0.33-mile oval, asphalt, and nicknamed the Action Track of the East. Today, that action is going to be unfolding right before your very eyes on Flow and here in the grandstands from the Seekonk Speedway.
A unique racetrack that is almost a perfect circle. Today, 150 laps. The teams will have the ability to change tires. 8 total they were allotted for this race. They'll have 4 on pit road, but they can only pick 1 per cautions. Matt Hirschman, he has won the last 2 races here. He goes for 3 in a row. Other previous winners include Doug Covey and Justin Bonsignor.
So those are some of the side stories here. But a lot of these competitors, they have won before here at the Cement Palace. It might not have been in this series, but it has been in open modified racing and other touring series as well. So as they stage the field of cars before us, it's now going to be, well, something special. We're looking at Matt Hirschman. Remember what happened a year ago, Joe?
You go back not 1, but 2 years ago, Matt Hirschman led all the laps back in 2023, 150 straight to score a victory. Big Money Matt is where he got his name, right here at Seekonk Speedway. Last year, he led 21 laps after Austin Beers dominated. He came across the checkered flag today, coming in to one of his best tracks on the circuit to be able to win 3 in a row. Today, though, he won the pole position by the quickest qualifying run earlier today. One of his sons going to go ahead and spin what is the redraw wheel down here on the front straightaway to determine where they will go ahead and start. Let's hear from Matt Hirschman on his pole qualifying run earlier today.
So far, just as good as we have the last 2 years at this point, because I'm pretty sure we've won the pole and the race 2 years consecutively. So we're on the right track so far, but there's a lot of work to do. The hard part is now ahead of us, so we'll see how it goes here. Seekonk is a very tough place. You got to get the balance right at the right time of the race, because I've already had the balance perfect, but at the wrong time of the race. So we'll just see how that goes. There's potential for pit stops, and there's a lot of variables, cautions, and how many and when they come. It could make or break anybody's day. So we'll just get out there and see how it goes.
Another thing that we're doing for the first time this season is the redraw. We know how much you love that. Last year you redrew and started in the 8th position. You're going to have to do it again today. Is that going to affect just how you're going to approach this race again?
Well, I think oftentimes luck is an overused term in motorsports, but when it comes to the redraw wheel, it's nothing more than luck. So we'll just see where that puts us to start, and we'll approach the race from there.
Big money.
There is the redraw wheel poised around the front straightaway here at Seekonk Speedway, and here's how this redraw will work.
It certainly is. After qualifying, the pole positions winners will spin the wheel to determine how many drivers will redraw, either 4, 6, 8, or 10. Drivers will then, one by one, pick their new starting position. And then what happens, Joe?
We'll find out by who redraws in their spot, and we're going to do that right now. Let's go trackside to our partner here this weekend, to Jacqueline Drake. Jacqueline, it's time for the redraw.
Well, race fans, this is a conversation all through the pits. This is the first time we're doing this in 2025. And of course, it's Matt Hirschman, that number 60, who's going to be the first to spin the wheel. Let's see just how much it's going to shake up that field. What do we think? Is it going to be 4, 6, 8, or 10? Race fans, get up on your feet as we invite Matt Hirschman and his son, Matthew Jr. It's all in your hands to go ahead and spin that. That was a great spin here. Let's see what number we're going to land on. Oh, it is 8. All right, so now at this time, we're going to invite the top 8 drivers over to draw a number out of the 8 bucket here. Matt, you're going to be the first to do so. Are we going to leave it up to your son to do it? What do we think?
He's not off to a good start.
Into the bucket we go. Let's see where you're going to be starting today. Number 3.
That's good. That's a good start. I'm happy with that.
All right. Good job, buddy. Let's go ahead and invite over Austin Beers, who qualified in the 2nd position. Yeah, don't be looking in there, Austin. Let's see what number you're going to pull out of here. Number 6 for Austin Beers. Next up, who qualified in 3rd, we have Jake Johnson. Number 4, and he said, I'll take that. He's, all right, so far so good. And the worst and the first is still in this bucket. Patrick Emmerling, what do we think? How do you feel?
Feeling good.
Number 2, on the front row, Patrick Emmerling. You ready for this? John McKennedy into the bucket.
I'm feeling a number 1.
Number 5. All the pressure is on Luke Baldwin. He doesn't know what to think about this right now. Luke, into the bucket. What's it going to be for you? Number 8. What do you think, Luke? Not too much, I know you qualified well your first time here, now starting a little bit, but hey, Matt did it last year. He went from 8 to 1st.
If only I was Matt Hirschman at a round racetrack, I'd be a little bit happier right now. But no, we'll still got a good shot, good race car, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, good luck to you, Luke Baldwin. Next up, we're going to be having our 4-time champ, Justin Bonsignor. Into the bucket you go, Justin. You said you wanted this redraw.
Yeah, couldn't hurt, right?
And number 1.
We'll take that.
Race fans, put your hands together. Justin Bonsignor, what do you think about that? Now you're going up to the pole. How do you feel?
A lot more pressure now, but the 60's been the best car all day, and he's right on our bumper. So just hope for the best, have a good run. We've had a lot of stuff to overcome all year. We've had good finishes, so it'd be nice to hopefully put together a smooth day and a little bit of strategy here. We'll see if guys decide to pit or not. So appreciate all the fans coming out on a Sunday afternoon, and hopefully we can put on a better race than we did in Wilkesboro for everybody here.
Justin Bonsignor, who hasn't won here at Seekonk since 2018, and rounding us out is going to be Kyle Bonsignor, and we already know what that number is going to be.
Picking up 1 spot's better than losing a bunch, so I'll take it.
Absolutely. Well, race fans, put your hands together for that qualifying redraw. The drivers are going to go ahead and get in their car. Racing, it's up next.
Well, thank you, Jacqueline. So Justin Bonsignor and Patrick Emmerling, the new front row. Drivers will get strapped in. What do you say we introduce to you the starting lineup for today's J R Precast 150? Starting 23rd from Thompson, Connecticut in the USNE Power 82 Services, number 8, John Michael Chenette.
Back in the 22nd starting position is car number 18. From Calverton, New York, the Hunter Mechanicals car for Ken Heggie. Then in the 21st starting position, the Sapienza Enterprises Eastport Foods machine. Car number 36 for Dave Sapienza.
Starting 20th, the Pro Systems BNP machine Chevrolet, third generation racer from Gridswall, Connecticut. Please welcome the number 59 for Tyler Berry. Starting 19th today, the USNE Lumax package. Number 20 from Preston, Connecticut, Max Zackham.
Let's go and take a look at the 9th row, starting back in the 18th position. The Dependable Energies, and of course, is the Bass Plating Company car. From Waterbury, Connecticut, car number 15 for Joey Cipriano III. And starting in the 17th spot, brand new race car for the S&S Paving, Harshaw Paving Company, Tinio number 44. Ladies and gentlemen, from Roxbury, Connecticut, Chase Dowling.
Starting 16th on the grid, a four-time series winner in the GAF Roofing, number 58 from Riverhead, New York, Eric Goodale.
Now moving to the 15th starting position, car number 5. That, of course, is from Humbleston, Pennsylvania. That's the Ebersol excavating machine for Kyle Ebersol.
Starting in 14th, lined up alongside his brother, Trevor Catalano from Ontario, New York, the USNE Power and Construction, number 56. To his inside, in car number 54, he'll start 13th from Ontario, New York, FX Caprera, USNE Catalano Motorsports for Tommy Catalano.
And then starting on the 13th starting position, it will be the FX Caprera USNE Catalano Motorsports machine. Car number 54 from Ontario, New York, Tommy Catalano.
You move up a row, you go to the 12th position, starting third, or in car number 3, Owego, New York, Northeast Drilling, back number 3, Tyler Ripkema. And starting in the 11th position, car number 46, Craig Lutz from Miller Place, New York, the Riverhead Building Supply Modified.
Now let's take a look at row number 5 in the 10th starting position, the Bar Harbor Bank and Trust machine. Ladies and gentlemen, from Sunapee, New Hampshire, a former New Hampshire state champion, car 25, Brian Roby. And in the 9th starting position, he'll set behind the wheel of the Newtown Pools Wanick Construction Company machine. From Newtown, Connecticut, car number 21 starts 9th on the grid, Stephen Kopsick.
Now we get into the top 8. Now these drivers redrew. We'll give you to them in the order that they qualified in based on qualifying earlier today. The 8th qualifier in the number 22 from Bay Shore, New York, the Chalou Performance MTT Munz Auto Modified for Kyle Bonsignor. Qualified originally 7th. He'll start first, though, in the 51 car from Holtzville, New York, the Phoenix Communication and four-time champion, Justin Bonsignor.
Let's take a look at the 3rd row and how they qualified there. In the 6th starting position, the Baldwin Automotive machine. From Mooresville, North Carolina, he's considered a rookie, but his performances say a lot more than that. Car number 7 for Luke Baldwin. Qualifying in the 5th spot will be the Stewart's Automotive machine. From Chelmsford, Massachusetts, car number 79, the former champion for John McKennedy.
The next driver on the grid drives car number 1 from Orchard Park, New York, the Fleetworks Incorporated Modified. It's Patrick Emmerling. Next starter on the grid, in the 07 from Rehoboth, Mass., it is their home track. Platinum Fire Protection, Propane Plus, Lynn's Propane, bring you Jake Johnson.
Now let's take a look at the men in row number 1. Believe it or not, they're neighbors from Northampton, Pennsylvania. That's not the only story. Last time here, they duked it out to the wire. But today, car number 64 was second fastest. The G&G Electrical Supply. Dell's Electric Murphy's Racing 64 from Northampton, Pennsylvania. Third generation driver, Austin Beers. And the man that knows this track, been there, done that. The guy to beat. Car number 60, the PD Motorsports machine. From Northampton, Pennsylvania, defending race winners, Matt Hirschman.
So there is the starters for the J R Precast 150. Remember, the top 8 redrew, and when they go out onto the pace laps, it'll be Justin Bonsignor and Patrick Emmerling on the front row. Row number 2, Matt Hirschman starts 3rd along with Jake Johnson in 4th. John McKennedy will start 5th alongside Austin Beers 6th. Kyle Bonsignor 7th, and Luke Baldwin will start 8th, and that is where Matt Hirschman started from last year to get the victory here 1 year ago.
Well, it's a big day here, of course. The J R Precast 150, over $100,000 in posted awards for this event. 11,000 plus is going to the winner. And the folks from J R Precast are down trackside. They're about ready to do something that is synonymous with racing in general. We also want to remind everybody that JDV Productions is presenting a special Whelen Short Track Cup. This is the start of 3, based on 3 events, which include the 2 events at Monadnock Speedway, and that is back-to-back races there. Previous winner was Hirschman in 2022, Kobe in 2023, and Emmerling in 2024. You do it once, you get $3,500. You do it all 3, you get an additional bonus, $5,000. And that, of course, is from JDV Productions, Josh Venata.
Plenty of cash on the line. Drivers getting strapped in, and we're getting strapped in too as well for 150 laps at the Cement Palace here in Seekonk, Massachusetts, one of the outstanding racetracks that we go to all season long. Joining us on the broadcast today, Jacqueline Drake. Jacqueline, this race is what everybody has had their eye on for weeks to see how the action would play out. We welcome you into the broadcast today on a big day for modified racing.
Thanks so much for having me. I am looking forward to a mod summer for myself. Going to be traveling with the series for the next 4 events. But how special is it to be here on Seekonk Speedway on a Sunday at that? And how special is it for the J&R Precast family all here behind me? A 50-year anniversary at that on the 40th anniversary of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour Series. Absolutely special. You can see all these kids here. We have lots of families represented. I want to talk to you right here. It looks like these are your kids, but they're not your kids.
They're my friends.
Your friends?
Yeah.
Your friends' kids. What's your connection with everyone here at J&R?
So I'm Bob's daughter, Ashley. And then my sister, Jessica, is right there. My nieces, Ayla and Olivia. My friend Hunter and Braylee. Yep. So we're really excited to be here.
So cool to see the family ties with this business, and you can even look around and see some of the equipment here today at this speedway and the ties that this company has within inside of motorsports itself truly leads to the fact of how racing has always been a family sport, even from the origins, and right here in the oldest NASCAR series that is in existence. So thank you all. I just want to say on behalf of myself, on behalf of NASCAR and all of us here at Seekonk Speedway, I'd like for all the race fans to stand up and put their hands together for all the businesses, including J&R, who have supported racing for all of these years. Thank you. In just a few moments, we're about to fire off and say the most famous words in motorsports, the ground pounders at the Cement Palace. And up here in the north, this is again one of the origins of motorsports, and there's several different legends have been walking the pits areas today and being able to talk to these drivers. I was able to speak with Austin Beers, who almost solidified a victory earlier last season and had it slip by in just the final few laps, but he led 125, and he's still looking for a win right here today. There's others like Matt Hirschman, who we've seen truly dominate here. And then, of course, 4-time champion Justin Bonsignor now drawing that pole position. So we have a lot of great drivers right here behind us, but all vying to get a win at a legendary place. We'll go ahead and check in with the booth and see if these drivers are just about ready.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Everybody going over their final checks before they get set to go racing here this afternoon. And Ben, this is a racetrack that puts a lot in the driver's hands.
It sure does. It is truly a racer's racetrack. Now, remember, we told you already that this year, this is the first short track stop. But right now, we head things back down trackside where the color yellow and J R Precast is now about to get fired up.
And the most famous words in motorsports, Go ahead and give the command.
Wow, fantastic job, Joe. They came through for us on this one. And we're looking at the field of Mighty Modifieds. There's the 64 car. Big factor here today. Murphy is back with us. We mentioned at North Wilkesboro, the owner who'd been setting out for a while, rejoining us. And there's the car that won the last event. And there is by far one of the favorite cars going into this race is the Bowler number 3 car.
Get a great look at this field. Tommy Catalano buckled up, ready to go in that 54 car. Has had a great season so far. The 07, Jake Johnson, the Albertas family, JMA Motorsports, their home race. They've got a lot of people here waiting to see, and there's Big Money Matt, and that is who everybody is chasing in that 60 car. He is certainly the favorite coming into the race today.
Sure, and other competitors out there. Kyle Bonsignor, the 22 car, was very quick in practice here today. So let's see if we can put that to the test at this great facility. There's no single lane around this racetrack. You can go double side by side. You can diamond the track, and some do, and others just run to the top side, bump their way and work their way to the bottom, move somebody up a half a lane, and pick up the spots.
The engines are fired here at Seekonk Speedway. The green flag is up next.
So once again, the engines have fired up, and we are moments away from getting things rolling here and a
The sun is shining on the Whelen Modified Tour as the field rolls through turns 1 and 2 on the first of 4 pace laps here this afternoon. The J R Precast 150 from Seekonk, Massachusetts. Joe Koss and Ben Dodge along with you. And Ben, this is a racetrack that's going to have a little bit of intrigue here as we roll into this, because not only is it 150 very fast, very intense laps, but there's also a bit of strategy that comes into this one with the option to change tires, and we haven't had that in the last couple of seasons.
We certainly have not, and that's going to be a key factor. Some of the teams are already talking about that in the paddock area early today. But the sun has come out, and it is a picture-perfect afternoon. Mother Nature yesterday in this area, there was nothing but heavy rains and mist. The management and NASCAR decided to move it to Sunday afternoon. And under ideal skies, we are going to, well, put it to the test. And another stop of the Whelen Modified Tour will thrill the race fans as we are moments away from going green.
Take another quick look at the starting lineup for today's event. After the redraw, Justin Bonsignor, 4-time series champion, starts along the front row alongside Patrick Emmerling. You've got Matt Hirschman starting in third now, going for 3 in a row. The 79 and John McKennedy will start in fifth alongside Austin Beers. And then you've got Kyle Bonsignor, Luke Baldwin, and then Brian Roby rounding out the top 10.
That's right, and rounding out the top 10 will be the story, of course, there, as we are looking to pick up the pace just a bit. The parade of vehicles, the J R Precast promotional car, is about to pull off from the racetrack itself. Joe, this is the moment that everybody's been waiting for. Justin Bonsignor, Patrick Emmerling, perhaps the story of 2024 on the Whelen Modified Tour, and already the story. It all began at the Hart's New Smyrna Speedway, where Patrick Emmerling became the big winner. Less than 2 circuits, we're going to be sending him off, and it will be kind of appropriate, Joe, that we give him a big send-off from the fans here at Seekonk.
It'll be a big day. This racetrack, the Cement Palace, has seats almost 360 degrees around this racetrack, one of the most unique places in short track racing to watch at various vantage points. They'll come to the line this time by, and they'll get 1 lap to go to the green flag. The crowd on their feet here at Seekonk Speedway, hats in the air, waving on their favorite drivers, and getting set to see some outstanding open wheel Whelen Modified Tour action. This crowd here, they waited a day after the rain yesterday, and they are in for a treat today at Seekonk.
And you can tell when you walk through the grandstand area, they had their souvenir hats on. They had their jackets of their favorite Whelen Modified Tour drivers. Pace vehicle pulls away from the field. You're looking at Justin Bonsignor, the man in position number 1. Here they come, Joe. The start of the first short track stop of 2025.
Field rolls off turn number 4. Green flag is in the air, and Justin Bonsignor with that redraw on the inside lane, able to nose out ahead of Patrick Emmerling in the outside lane. Bonsignor will clear him into turn number 3, and when he comes back around this time by, Justin Bonsignor will lead his first lap of the 2025 season.
Well, all that's been happening. It is Hirschman. Moves in, reels in on the back bumper. Can't do it. Patrick Emmerling shuffles back in the outside groove. Inside seems to be the advantage, but we're early in the event. Hirschman moves into the second spot. Emmerling's getting a good bite, Joe, off the turn. He's up alongside. Will he be able to take that position from Matt Hirschman?
A 2-groove racetrack to start this one with the momentum in the outside lane, working for Patrick Emmerling and Jake Johnson in the 07. They get a good launch on the back straightaway, but you really can't even call it a straightaway here because they really keep that wheel turned the entire way around this racetrack. Caution is
trouble.
out.
We've got car number 25, Brian Roby, the Bar Harbor Bank automobile going around. Roby has won several events in the quest for the NASCAR local short track program in 2025, winning at Claremont and winning at the Monadnock Speedway. So Roby, former winner at this racetrack as well, qualified quite well for himself with the Bar Harbor Bank machine, and that will bring the first caution of the event. Remember, Whelen, trusted in products that is the first responders number 1. First names in lights and sirens and safety services used throughout the world. Whelen Engineering, trusted to protect first responders.
So the first caution of the afternoon comes out, illuminates those Whelen Engineering lights around this Seekonk Speedway, the 1/3 mile oval, just a few miles east of Providence, Rhode Island, and the field slows. And this has been the trend in the Whelen Modified Tour races. We usually see a caution within the first 15 laps or so, and that trend continued to prove here, so everybody looking to get a little bit settled in. Ben, hard to believe that 51 car, a 4-time series champion, that first lap of the race, the first time that that 51 has led a lap all season.
It is, and that is exceptionally hard to believe. That entire race team, owned by Massey, was brought down south. Ryan Stone. It is operated in the state of Carolina, and it comes up for these Whelen Modified Tour events. There's no question that we have to select somebody to be a perfect goodwill ambassador for modified racing in the Whelen Modified Tour. I think we could check that box for the driver of car 51. You'd have to agree.
I agree wholeheartedly. It looks like there's problems for the 54 car of Tommy Catalano. He's back in the pit area here at Seekonk Speedway. It looks like the Nerf bar there on the right side of that 54 car, he is missing. You can see it right between the 2 wheels, not there. And he's got to make sure that that is put back on. So they are actually going to go back to the garage area in their hauler and see if they can get that repaired. Off turn 3 and 4 here, they've set up a pit lane for these drivers and these teams. Now you can pit under the caution, and as long as you don't lose a lap, you go back out onto the racetrack in the same order as you came onto pit road among the cars that pit. So Joey Cipriano, Brian Roby, will take an opportunity here under this early caution to come down pit road.
Certainly will. And for those of you who have never seen the Seekonk Speedway, we don't have the luxury of having a pit road. However, they set a temporary pit road up in the pit area, which allows the cars, it's all set up exactly like the real deal, allows them to come off the racetrack, make those adjustments, come back information. The NASCAR officials will then let them back out in the order that they came off the racetrack. They are also checking, we said before about the tire situation. You're looking at the Maurice number 25, and looks like a left front Joe they're looking at, and sending Brian Rovey back out.
The rule for this race is that you can take one tire per caution. That's absent any flats or anything else that you may have as per usual, but one tire per caution. So a left front tire there for Brian Rovey. And some of these teams may come down pit road. Some of them may not. You may see a couple of cars try to get a right rear tire, which tends to take a lot of abuse. But I think that if you're a guy like Justin Bonsignore, Matt Hirschman, or even Patrick Emmerling, if you're up there in the front, it's going to take a lot to pit out of one of those top three positions.
It certainly is. It's hard to work your way from the back of this field to the front. Traffic is key, and now it looks like the field is being told to cross over one more lap before we're set to go back to green flag racing. Spotters become key in this one, Joe, as we both know. They've been talking to the competitors, the drivers that they're spotting for, giving them advice on what they see so far. A little bit early to tell exactly what the story is going to be. But in just a couple of seconds, when the green flies, will it be deja vu, rinse or repeat? Well, there's the green, and it looks like Bonsignore took advantage, but look at Hirschman. He went from the inside, Joe, to the outside. Changed his strategy for a minute. He's up on the wheel in the outside lane, but Bonsignore continues to guard the spot.
Bonsignore tried to take the lane away from him a bit in the middle of turns 1 and 2. That lost the momentum that Matt Hirschman was trying to build up there in the high lane. Hirschman will have to duck back in line into the tire tracks and Justin Bonsignore.
Meanwhile, a car that's moving forward is the pink and black 22, and that's Kyle Bonsignore. He hasn't had a good run this season at all, but he's looking good here today. He goes to the outside of Jake Johnson in the black number 07. That's the first car to pick up some positions early in this event in the outside groove.
Kyle Bonsignore said, you know, I've had 2 DNFs this year, and I haven't had the greatest of finishes, but if it wasn't for a race car that wasn't fast, I wouldn't be disappointed. But we have been so quick week in and week out. We know we're bringing quick race cars to the track. We don't have anything to show for it. Right now, he's showing pretty good. Going to the outside of Patrick Emmerling. This would be a battle for third. It looks like he's going to get the job done here in turn 3.
It certainly does. He is among the quickest cars on the racetrack. And Jake Johnson, the hometown favorite, this kid has got so much talent, and he cut his teeth. Came up through every one of the divisions ranking here, has tried and tested the waters. Johnson goes to the outside. Emmerling continues to backslide just a bit with car number 1. Back up front, Hirschman still on the back bumper, but Emmerling seems to have his hands full. That car already seems to be slipping, and now John McKennedy is working over the Emmerling number 1.
Emmerling came into the race at North Wilkesboro as a point leader, but crashed early in the event, finished toward the back of the running order, and now he's 6th in the points. That's how tight it is. He's now backpedaling here a little bit with trouble. Off turn 4, a couple of cars around. Max Zackham, Dave Zapienza go spinning.
The two of them went literally sideways, spun to the left. The back end snapped around. They came off the turn, and not severe contact. This is caution number 2 in the event. And now we're going to see if there's going to be any takers when they do open things up and they're able to head back into the pit area at this particular point. So Zackham and the 36 of Dave Zapienza were the 2 cars that were involved and tangled together. Zapienza machine, of course, is a tribute car to the legendary great Teddy Christopher, who Zap said that he helped him so much as he made the transition we've talked about from drag racing to oval racing. And he said, you know what? I'm one of the oldest drivers in the field, but this modified stuff makes me feel young. And he's a real character both on and off the racetrack. A pleasure to have in this series.
And I don't know if he's too pleased with the 59 car, one of the youngest drivers in the field, of Tyler Berry. They were wheeling it side by side there. And hard to tell whether or not there was an incident there between that machine and the 20 of Max Zachem.
And it looks like we've got some additional takers that are working their way around. So, and it is like there's the 54 car. The reason, Joe, that car is not coming back out, the Nerf bar, or the rub rail on the right side, was broken off. There is a rule and a regulation that says you must have those bars on for the safety of you and others, and unfortunately it looks like they have parked that car and they are not going to replace that right side rub rail. A lot of action going backstage.
58 of Eric Goodale is there, Ken Hagee and John Michael Chenette all going back to the pit area to see if they can get some service. They were running toward the tail end of the field, so when the caution came out on lap number 21, gives you plenty of time to feel your race car out and make your way down pit lane as the time is appropriate. So we get an idea there of what those three drivers are doing. Justin Bonsignor has led the entire way so far, but did you see that last restart, how Justin Bonsignor kept his car closer to the grass in the infield here at the racetrack to kind of shorten the distance back to turn one, while Matt Hirschman stood on the gas and made his car go as wide as possible around the top, tried to carry that momentum, and it almost worked and allowed him to take over the race lead.
It certainly did, but what I want to see on this restart is what's going to happen with that number 22 car, because that car has picked up the most positions early in the event. It seems to be working and digging in hard in the outside lane, so it appears that they found something with that team. They're going to be on the inside, but we know from the last restart it was Bonsignor again with the advantage, but this time little different strategy because Hirschman's to the outside, and then we've got Jake Johnson. It's give or take time again. Pace truck dives to the inside.
Bonsignor in the 51 at the bottom. Kyle Bonsignor, that's his cousin, sitting there in the 22 behind. And here comes Matt Hirschman charging up the outside lane. Another strong push into turns 1 and 2. Hirschman with the edge as they go down the back straightaway and dive for 3 in the race lead.
They come off turn number 4. They're side by side. Drifts up just a bit. All of a sudden, Hirschman has to back out of it. Bonsignor is back in command. Hirschman digs in hard in the top groove. Turn 3, turn 4. It all could change here.
Hirschman to the outside lane. Last time through, Bonsignor gave him a little bit of a hip check across the start-finish line, and they do it again, but Hirschman, tough as nails in the outside lane. Half a car ahead in the battle for the race lead.
Off the turn, Hirschman goes way up the hill. A door opens, suddenly it closes. All of a sudden, it is Bonsignor trying to reel him in again. And what about Jake Johnson? Johnson moves around the 22 that looked so good just a few laps ago. Behind the top 4 that are single file, Joe, then we've got them doubled up 2 by 2.
Bonsignor said at the start of the race, everybody is chasing the 60 car of Matt Hirschman, lap 29. That becomes true. Here's the battle for Austin Beers working inside of John McKennedy.
Austin Beers trying to work his way and hold that bottom groove. Since the last caution, Patrick Emmerling has gotten a little bit better and more stable. He's up on the top side of the racetrack. Let's shift back forward to look at that third place battle, because here comes Kyle Bonsignor to try it again, but Jake Johnson continues to hold that third position.
John McKennedy around the top of Austin Beers as the battle there calms down for the 6th position, but it is Kyle Bonsignor in the 22 kicking that car sideways off turn 4 to get it to rotate on the straightaway and try to get underneath Jake Johnson, but did not have enough speed off the corner to be able to make it work.
A good, valid attempt at trying, though. We'll see what's going to happen. Meanwhile, Patrick Emmerling is starting to come to life. McKennedy is right there as well, but it still remains 2 cars out in front by, well, half a turn's distance. And that, of course, the early leader running in second, and the second leader is Matt Hirschman, and he continues to set the pace.
Justin Bonsignor is not letting Matt Hirschman get too far away as we continue on this battle here. They'll work around the lap machine of John Michael Chenette. Hirschman opened up a bit of a gap there when he first got by him. Justin Bonsignor just 2 car lengths behind. The battle for third. Jake Johnson, the Albernaz family, their race shop about 3 minutes from here.
Yes.
Very close, very home track feel for them, and they want the best of results.
And of course, that car, they received technical advice and help from Ryan Stone. Ryan Stone, the mastermind behind the Justin Bonsignor operation. So do they compare the notes? Well, that could be the case because both cars are looking very stout this early in the event. With 40 laps up on the board, things are starting to settle in just a bit. Another mover and shaker is car number 21 for Steven Kopsick. Kopsick has moved into the 8th position behind Austin Beers. And with him, there's a gap, but it is Luke Baldwin, also the leading rookie. He's found a home among the top 10.
Baldwin started in the 8th spot, but then he slid back a little bit after the green flag flew. Here's Kopsick in the 21, looking underneath the 64 of Austin Beers, and boy, that car really rotates through the middle of the corner. Not easy to be able to dive underneath somebody when you're in a complete circle. And Kopsick, if it wasn't for the 79 in his lane ahead of time, I think he would have been able to get by the 64 already.
I believe you are correct. You know, this kid understands the setup. It's a father-son deal. His dad, Nick Kopsick, is the mastermind with his son. He's trying everything to keep that car guarded to the bottom of the racetrack. He's running a different line. You might think, Joe, that that's pitching the car off, keeping the RPMs down. That is not the case here with car 21.
And this is not one of those racetracks where you need a ton of horsepower. Most of the time, they're only about half throttle here because they are turning the entire time. This is a racetrack, when you hear the old egg under the gas pedal routine, it takes finesse, it takes art, and a crafty veteran to be able to get around this racetrack. And that's why you see guys like Matt Hirschman run so well here.
Certainly is. Now we're looking a little bit forward now for that 3rd position. Kyle Bonsignor is right there, and he has been testing the waters a bit. It just doesn't seem to be working. Meanwhile, the 64 machine of Austin Beers sets its sight to close in on John McKennedy, but unfortunately doesn't seem to be closing up the gap that quickly at all. But they've got lap traffic in there too.
Austin Beers led 129 laps here last year, only to lose it in a late race caution on a restart to Matt Hirschman. Today he said, you know what, I will qualify well. On the stopwatch he was 2nd, but he said I'm not too confident in my race car in race trim, and that has proved to be true right now because he is back in the 7th position. He started the event in 6th. He hasn't moved at all forward, and that car does not look as sporty as it did 1 year ago.
It certainly does not, but time will tell. He just moved to the inside. He's going to put the move on John McKennedy. Do or die time there. They almost come together, able to pull it back in the line, and here comes Kopsick. Kopsick in the 21 car, black, silver, and neon, changes his line completely. And just as good as that car stuck on the bottom, all of a sudden, it's sticking in the outside lane. Oh, John McKennedy, little stutter step there, and here comes Steven Kopsick coming to the front of this field.
McKennedy will lose 1, if not 2 positions as Austin Beers looks to roll top around the outside of John McKennedy. Here's that battle for 3rd, continuing to pick up the 22. Kyle Bonsignor, we spoke of those 2 DNFs he's had. That has forced them to go to a brand new race car, at least for this season. It's one they've run before, and that car might be all they need to be able to get the monkey off their back. He continues to have a good run here today, looking for 3rd.
Certainly has. Let's look a little further back in this field, too, at the man that won the last time out. Craig Lutz with the number 46 car. Now, Lutz is back in 11. He has not broken into the top 10 yet, Joe, and we are now 57 laps in to the record books here.
Kyle Bonsignor really up on the wheel here in the 22, has lost a car length or 2 back to Jake Johnson. You go deeper in the pack. Here is that charge from Steven Kopsick, continuing to move forward. Right now he's battling for a top 5 spot, held down by Patrick Emmerling.
Good battle right there. It continues to be a heated one at that. All of a sudden, Kopsick tries a different line again, back to the bottom of the racetrack. Can't complete the move. Down into turn 3, almost there. They rub together slightly. Still, it is Patrick Emmerling. He holds on to position number 5, but further back in the field. Lutz has broken through. He's on the back bumper of the number 3 car, and that, of course, is Tyler Ripkema, who is reeled in on Luke Baldwin with the 7 New York.
Steven Kopsick in that 21 car on the razor's edge. You can see is pushing it very narrowly, making contact with Emmerling when they were side by side. He'll look outside a bit in turn 1. Is he trying to set him up off turn 2? Here comes a crossover move to the back straightaway. Kopsick in the 21, Patrick Emmerling in the 1 car.
There's no question about it. Kopsick has at this point in the race, the best handling car in the field. He can put it to the bottom, he can put it to the outside. Wherever he goes, it seems to stick. But right now, they are in a side-by-side battle as Patrick Emmerling still trying to hold on. Meanwhile, Kopsick is here. That's the battle for the 5th position. And it's been side-by-side for several laps. Kopsick's got it, and who's right there with him? The 64. Austin Beers almost tried to make the move down underneath the 21. Now we've got factor number 4, car number 79 for John McKennedy.
Kopsick still not able to complete the pass just yet as Emmerling holds on tight to the outside lane. As good as this car looks, he has lost a second and a half to the race leader, Matt Hirschman, while trying to get by Patrick Emmerling. Now that he's cleared him, that opens up the opportunity for Austin Beers in the 64 to try to fill that gap to the inside of Emmerling.
Good job by Austin Beers. Oh, that time, car loosened up right in the center of the turn. He's still running on that inside lane, side by side. Almost there. He's really working him over, and Austin Beers has picked up the position now. He will move in. Beers all of a sudden up to the 6th spot. Leader still remains Matt Hirschman.
We'll see how this cleared track helps Stephen Kopsick and whether or not he can track down the 4th place machine of Kyle Bonsignor. That battle has calmed down just a bit as this continues to start to intensify with the 64 car of Austin Beers. Now that he's gotten through this traffic, his car a little bit later in the run is showing more and more speed.
Sure is, and that speed is going to become a huge factor as tires come into play. Good battle still is literally between Stephen Kopsick in the 5th spot all the way back to the bottom of the top 10. It's kind of like a conga line. There's single file information. Whoever steps out of line is going to be able to perhaps take the position, but it's not going to be without a fight. Beers is getting quicker. It appears Kopsick is starting to settle in. Is that strategy to save the equipment, or is that just aggression by one over the other?
Well, not a lot of time to save equipment because we just passed lap number 75 when Matt Hirschman comes across the line this time by. He'll get the Jostine's Phil Kerrs Halfway Leader Award win today. So Matt Hirschman, lap 75, has led since lap 21 today, lap 29 today, as he continues to show the way here in Seekonk.
Car number 7, Luke Baldwin, is the leading rookie in this event. He has worked his way into the 9th position, and he's coming forward behind John McKennedy. Running in 10th spot, Tyler Ripkema in the Bowler number 3 car. So you're looking at it right now. Those 4 cars, they have been trying to make some magic around. Ripkema can reel in on Baldwin, but he isn't able to set up to complete that pass.
Baldwin looking inside off turn 4. Can't make it work under McKennedy. McKennedy has won a lot of races here at this racetrack, whether it be in modifieds like this or in super modifieds where he's a champion there in both those divisions. He's really good here at this track.
He certainly is good. He's won a title in the Modified Racing Series. He's won a title in the Monaco Modifieds over the years. I've run races there as well. So he is an outstanding guy to keep your eyes on. He loves this type of a racetrack. Good battle still right there as Baldwin works his magic on the outside, and Luke Baldwin picks up the spot. He's now marching to the front, and there's Tyler Ripkema right there with him. They had to burn the midnight oil to get ready for today's event as a local favorite, the famed Bowler Racing number 3 car.
Completely different race car for them here because of the damage that they suffered there at North Wilkesboro. The team had to scramble to get it together, but it was the car that they were planning to run here because it's their short track car.
Yes, it is. And a very, very well-known team that understands this racetrack. No matter who drives a Bowler race car, they're going to get to the front, and their shots of winning are good. Baldwin now works his way underneath Patrick Emmerling, and that is going to be the battle for the 7th spot. Luke Baldwin, he might be young in age, but he has the talent to be able to pace himself and to go when it's time to go and to lay back. A trait that is part of the Baldwin family over the years, Tiger Tom. He was an aggressive driver in those days. But Luke is more of a scientific player, and his dad has tutored him well.
Still working over Patrick Emmerling, just about gets the pass made off turn number 4. And now Luke Baldwin has picked up another spot. That'll put him in 7th. He's got some distance to go to be able to track down Austin Beers, who's about 2 seconds ahead of him here as they continue to circulate now 89, 90 laps as Matt Hirschman comes across the start-finish line. And we are getting closer now into the second half of this race, and the time is now here under this long green flag run. We get a look at the young Trevor Catalano in the 56, who won at a short track at Monadnock Speedway last year.
He certainly is doing a fine job. This kid is also very, very smooth. He continues to pace himself, and he knows right where to run. We were just looking at the Lutz car. Also, as Lutz has worked his way up to the 12th position, Chase Dowling has moved in to the 13th spot. That's a brand new car for that operation as well.
Craig Lutz took over the championship lead with the elevator ride to victory lane at North Wilkesboro. His first win in over 3 years. He said being the point leader, you can tell it put a big smile on his face when he realized that he would lead this group in. But right now, this is not his style of racetrack. He's a guy that likes the big super speedways like New Hampshire Motor Speedway, Thompson and New Smyrna. He struggles at tracks like this, and he's having a mid-pack run in 12th today.
He certainly is. You know, it's almost ironic in the fact that he is like that because he comes from an area where short track racing is king. Another good battle shaping up. Meanwhile, look what's happening here. Kyle Bonsignor goes to the outside as the 64 of Austin Beers tries to keep the lane tight to the bottom, but he can't quite do it, Joe. And we've got a spin on the front straightaway.
Ken Hagee in the 18 right at the start-finish line has gone around backwards. Third caution of the day today, and it was just as Austin Beers and Steven Kopsick were closing in on Kyle Bonsignor, and while they were in the middle of lap traffic, they were both faster than Matt Hirschman as he was catching the tail end of the field.
They certainly were, and now we're going to see what's going to happen perhaps with a lot of the teams going to that pit area and picking up that tire and coming back out. Remember, they can go to the pit area, they can make that tire, take that change, but they have to come out in the order that they went in. So nobody has an advantage. You can't be quicker than the other guy or any of the above.
And the pace car will slow to allow those changes to be made. As long as you don't lose a lap back there in the pit area, you can come back out onto the racetrack in the position that you went in. Here is the 60 car. Matt Hirschman leads the way. Now, they've got one tire that they can go and get if they want. There are 14 cars that are on the lead lap. If I'm somebody like Trevor Catalano, John McKennedy, Craig Lutz, Chase Dowling, you better believe I'm coming down pit road to get myself a tire here to go toward the finish, knowing that I really don't have a whole lot to lose.
Absolutely, that is the case, and we're going to see, I think, exactly that perfect example there. We've also been looking, a lot of the spotters have been talking to their drivers now under yellow and explaining to them how many positions that competitors have picked up already or not, where they are in the course of things. And we're going to be looking at it in just a moment. When things open up, we'll see what happens and who is a taker or who will stay out.
Wow, shocked to see the 22 car of Kyle Bonsignor is going to step out of line. Austin Beers is coming down pit lane. It's more of a question of who is not coming down pit road, and that could be Hirschman, Bonsignor, Jake Johnson, and the 21 of Steven Kopsick. Back to Jacqueline Drake in the pit area. It is going to be very, very busy. One tire only for the cars that come down pit road.
And very slow pace because everybody seems to be wanting a piece of real estate backstage as Jacqueline is there where the action is. And Matt Hirschman continues to stay out. Bonsignor, same story. Kopsick, no takers for car number 21 as well, Joe.
Trevor Catalano will stay out on track too and pick up a bunch of positions.
Kyle Bonsignor, first guy out.
So they will come back and rejoin at the tail of the cars that decided to stay out.
Austin Beers back out. Tyler Ripkema 15, Joey Cipriano. The 1 of Patrick Emmerling. Greg Lutz. Luke Baldwin. Dave Zapienza. John McKennedy. Heggie. Roby. Ebersol. And Dowling. Final car out.
And again, they work this race under a modified live pit stop. So that is why they will take a moment here in reorder of the cars that came down pit road. They will come back into the running order based on how they went in. And that's only because the way the pit road is set up.
Yes.
And that changes things up. So we're under the caution for the third time today. Matt Hirschman has been out front since lap 29. He leads the way with 48 laps to go. Working the third caution of the afternoon in the J R Precast 150 here at Seekonk, Massachusetts. And the question is, does anybody have an answer for Matt Hirschman? He, along with 3 others among the top 4, Justin Bonsignor, Jake Johnson, and Steven Kopchik, along with Trevor Catalano, decided not to come down pit road and get a tire. Everybody from there on back has fresh rubber on at least one of the 4 corners, and we'll see if that plays out to the victory today. They'll get the green flag. We'll be at lap 106 and 44 laps to go here at Seekonk Speedway to settle the J R Precast 150.
It's going to be interesting to see if the cars that pitted, if they have been able to gain with that new tire, because we're going to see up front those 4 that did not pit. Hirschman with the advantage. Jake Johnson tried to squeak down low. Here comes the 21. Steven Kopchik wheeling it hard in the outside lane.
And now you see Hirschman saying, I know those good tires are coming behind me. I want to build a gap like I didn't have in the first half. Now is the time to go at 12.5 seconds a lap. These laps will go by quickly.
They certainly will. And all of a sudden, Austin Beers works his way. Beers is now into the top 5. He's got a missile all of a sudden. Here comes Patrick Emmerling and McKennedy. Luke Baldwin stuck on the inside lane.
The tires are paying off for Austin Beers. He was 6th when they dropped the green flag. Now he's on the attack, trying to pick up 4th under Steven Kopchik, and that car looks like it's handling a lot better than it did before that last caution.
Same thing can be said about the Catalano number 56 car. All of a sudden it is working, stuck like glue to the inside lane. Back up a bit for second. Jake Johnson running in the tire tracks of the Phoenix number 51 car. Can't get him yet, but Austin Beers looking at timing and scoring. Beers is among the quickest cars that has made that pit stop and is coming back to the front of this field.
Right behind them, though, a great battle between Trevor Catalano and Luke Baldwin. They were on pit lane. Catalano stayed out. Ahead of them, Patrick Emmerling. He is putting pressure to the back bumper of Austin Beers as he tries to find a way around the 21 of Steven Kopchik.
What a battle right there. Emmerling tested the waters with car number 1. Couldn't do it. Remember, the top 4 cars, great single file right now. They did not take on a tire. Beers, definitely. Joe called it right. He went for the tire. It's made all the difference in the world, and he's trying to make the move underneath Kopchik. He set up perfect. Kopsik's car loosened up just a bit there, and now Austin Beers is loose.
It was contact from Patrick Emmerling as he tried to cross over. Emmerling now closes back into the back bumper of Beers. The battle continues behind them between McKennedy and the Luke Baldwin number 70 York, but it's Beers to be able to break free with that fresh tire. But Ben, no tires on the 60 car. He is all but checked out in front for Matt Hirschman.
He is so strong at the front of the field. The margin between first and second, instead of going away, it is getting bigger. Here comes Kopsik again, working over Jake Johnson. Can't do it. 118 laps up on the board. It still remains Hirschman. Will Hirschman have the ability to again have another victory in a row in a Whelen Modified Tour race here at Seekonk? Stay tuned, because this is not over with yet.
We heard a lot about Kyle Bonsignor early in this race. Under that last caution, he had to come back down pit road twice because the right rear tire was not tightened. They had to come back in, get it tightened up. He's now mired back in traffic back in 13th.
Meanwhile, here comes the one of Patrick Emmerling. Emmerling dives down underneath Austin Beers. Beers gets good forward bite off the turn. Emmerling sinks it in at a ton. Kopsik is the car directly in front of them, side by side. Patrick Emmerling was almost there, but not quite.
Emmerling now with his new tire trying to better Austin Beers and try to track down the 21 car of Steven Kopsik. Now inside the top 5. Beers was going for 4 straight top 5 finishes today, but he rides 6th at the moment.
Meanwhile, all of a sudden, Steven Kopsik, it's like he got the message. And the message is he's got to get around Jake Johnson. He puts the car to the inside, going, gone. It is the 21 of Kopsik up to the 3rd position. With him is Patrick Emmerling. Behind Emmerling is Austin Beers, John McKennedy, and Jake Johnson to the outside of the 21.
Steven Kopsik all of a sudden has gone to the afterburner. Meanwhile, the JMA Racing Albertaz 07 of Jake Johnson out of the groove in turn 4. Emmerling gets by. Beers now trying to do the same.
He tries to make his presence known inside. He's been there for a while now. John McKennedy, pick and choose time for him. That tire did wonders for him also. Austin Beers cannot shake off Jake Johnson, trying everything. And now Beers finally gets the spot. McKennedy tries to stay there right with him on the inside lane as Jake Johnson just refuses to give up.
Doing everything he can to stay up toward the front of the field is Jake Johnson, but the car and that handling got shuffled out of line. Now he's just fighting for his life to try to stay inside the top 10. Inside goes Beers. Here comes McKennedy while that lane is open to the bottom. This here would shuffle him back to the 7th spot.
There's no question that is the battle of this event. Here comes McKennedy again, trying everything to make that transition. It doesn't work. Beers now starts to close up that gap, but still, you're looking at Jake Johnson and John McKennedy. And now McKennedy has worn out Jake Johnson for a second to get a little breathing room and take over that position.
So that moves John McKennedy into 6th. Jake Johnson back to 7th. Austin Beers directly ahead is now back inside the top 5, trying to keep that streak alive. Out front, Matt Hirschman has nearly a second advantage over Justin Bonsignor. Steven Kopsik sitting there in 3rd. Not been able to close in on the back bumper of either one of those cars as Hirschman continues to lay down the quickest laps.
Certainly does. You know, it's a textbook case for Matt Hirschman. He seems to be so strong and so confident. He's saving his tires, tire management somehow, but at the same time, he's among the quickest cars on the racetrack. Emmerling still trying to close in on Steven Kopsik, the 3rd place car. And while that has been happening, Austin Beers is, a little tap to the bumper. Emmerling's getting a little frisky. Taps on the back bumper. Kopsik on the outside. Here they come. Off the turn. Patrick Emmerling. Steven Kopsik. Wheel to wheel and side by side. Patrick Emmerling gets the spots.
Emmerling with a little hip check there off turn 4 to allow him to get by the 21 of Steven Kopsick, and he's going to try to run away and see if he can track down the second place car of Justin Bonsignor. Quick lap times here in the late going. He's faster than Bonsignor is Patrick Emmerling. Can he close down the gap? He's about 1.1 seconds behind Bonsignor, who rides second.
Visually, it appears that he is catching, but the clock doesn't lie. But he is starting to gain and move in. Meanwhile, Kopsick settles back into that 4th position. Austin Beers up to 5. 6th spot is still John McKennedy. Jake Johnson back in 7th. Luke Baldwin is 8th. Tyler Ripkema is 9th. And Trevor Catalano rounds out the top 10. We're coming down to the wire, Joe.
It's a nice recovery for Patrick Emmerling. Caution is out for the 4th time today. Caution flag waves here in the J R Precast 150. And that'll set us up for a late race shootout here as there's only 7 laps to go.
It is going to be a barn burner. There's no question about that. And the gap that we were talking about between Justin Bonsignor and Patrick Emmerling, all of a sudden, like a magic show, poof, it is gone. Now, who do you think is going to take advantage of heading to the pit area? Remember, we've just got, and we're counting them down. The clock is ticking. It looks like the 3 car, yes, Tyler Ripkema heads back to the pit area.
Reason for the caution, debris off the end of the front straightaway. That's what caused that 4th caution. Safety crew will go out there and pick that up. And a little bit more on the 3 car. It is the air cleaner off that 3 car, which is down on the front straightaway. And that is why
that up. Yep.
He had to go back to the pit area. He got black flagged. You have to run that on one of these modifieds as part of the rules.
That is right. So that is the reason for the caution coming out. You saw the bottom of it, and there is the top part of the air cleaner. So tough break for Tyler Ripkema. Let's take a look at the field now. As we know, the dominant car has been Matt Hirschman. Justin Bonsignor has been in 2nd. Since the last caution, Patrick Emmerling is the guy that has made the most ground up, Joe. You'd have to say that. And he sets in the 3rd position. Steven Kopsick has not pitted. He is in the 4th position. Austin Beers did, position number 5. Then McKennedy is in 6th. And then it's Jake Johnson in 7th. Luke Baldwin is 8th. Then it's Catalano in 9th. And Lutz to round out the top 10. So that's the way they're running in the top 10. And just out of the top 10, Chase Dowling. And then Kyle Bonsignor, who was so strong earlier, is there with Ebersol and Joey Cipriano III.
So they'll line up here. There'll be 2 laps to go when they get back under the green flag. This one likely going into overtime here as we work under the caution. It's Hirschman, Bonsignor, Emmerling, one of the quickest cars on the racetrack, and Steven Kopsick, who his car starting to fade away. Earlier in the pit area, many of the crew chiefs said, you know what, we're not coming for tires. We're just not going to do it. And then only 4 of them stayed out, and Patrick Emmerling and that team went down pit road. They got a tire, and they've got the fastest car on the racetrack with 2 laps to do something with it here when we get back under green.
Certainly has. And remember, Austin Beers went in at the same time as Patrick Emmerling. When they first came out, Beers was the guy that was making the most moves, and it was Emmerling who was following him. All of a sudden, Emmerling started to settle in, and he became the guy. Field crossing over. Matt Hirschman on the inside. Justin Bonsignor, row number 2. Emmerling, Kopsick, row 3. Beers, and John McKennedy.
Will be 2 laps to go when they get the green flag to win it here at Seekonk. The veteran, big money Matt Hirschman going for 3 in a row on the inside lane. Fires first, but here comes Patrick Emmerling trying to stick the nose to the inside of Bonsignor.
Well, that's been happening. All of a sudden, Kopsick gets a little extra oomph. White flag is out. 1 lap to go.
Outside lane, the advantage right now for Matt Hirschman. But down to the inside lane, Bonsignor sends it. He goes spinning off turn number 2. Emmerling in the wall. checkered flag, and the caution is out as they come across the line, and a multi-car crash on the back straightaway in the final lap.
Unbelievable chain of events take place. Cars involved, and Emmerling's car is one of the key ones. They all pull away, and it was just an unbelievable situation coming off turn number 2. You can see where they first made contact in the W in Speedway, and John McKennedy is the car that suffered the most, and unbelievably into victory lane. You can't dispute the winner of the event.
And that is Matt Hirschman for the third time, clearly out in front when the checkered flag and caution waved. But on the back straightaway, chaos ensued. The 51 car of Justin Bonsignor on the inside lane, contact was made. Emmerling got airborne into the outside wall. John McKennedy is out there along the back straightaway. And how about this, the hat trick for Matt Hirschman? He wins again at Seekonk.
Certainly does. An unbelievable chain of events came down to the wire and so forth. We'll give you the unofficial, and it is unofficial, rundown. But right now our attention is heading into the winner's circle here as Matt Hirschman has done it again. Only 2 different leaders in this event, the J R Precast event, but the man that took the lead second became the man that visited victory lane first. And that, of course, is Matt Hirschman.
Hirschman down in victory lane here across the front straightaway at Seekonk Speedway. A dramatic final lap that saw him going to victory lane. Unofficially, Steven Kopchik across in second and Austin Beers third. I'm sure they will look at that. Let's take a look on the replay. It was Bonsignor who got sideways on his own, and then Emmerling came across the nose. Emmerling's car airborne into the outside concrete along the back straightaway over the nose of John McKennedy. Multiple cars stopping and getting involved, but boy, it was the 51 that just stepped on the gas off turn 2, car out of shape, and then a little bit of help from Emmerling to finish it off before they went crashing on the back straightaway.
They did, and everybody scattered, and unfortunately the cars involved. Spinning just before was Brian Roby, Dave Zapienza, one of the cars involved, but John McKennedy is the guy that got the brunt of that one, and what a tough situation. Steven Kopchik was able to dive to the inside and made it look easy as he was able to avoid all of that. But right now we're looking at Matt Hirschman, a familiar sight to victory lane, especially here at the Seekonk Speedway.
Matt Hirschman, calm, cool, collected, even in victory, soaking it all in. 3 in a row at this racetrack. There's only 2 drivers that have won more than one Whelen Modified Tour race. Matt Hirschman is one, Doug Kobe the other, and Matt Hirschman about ready to climb out of car number 60, victorious once again and winning the first leg of the Whelen Short Track Cup here in 2025. Let's go down to victory lane and hear from our race winner, Jacqueline Drake.
And out of the car he comes, the 60, Matt Hirschman, your race winner today at Seekonk Speedway. He's going to turn to his team, high fives, and have on that victory hat. Matt, what a final few laps there. There was some contact, a lot happening, but walk me through what was going through your mind when you were in the hot seat. You didn't have the fresher tires on, and those final laps and how it unwound.
Yeah, obviously we didn't want to see a caution at all, but then we had one and we were good with that, but then we just certainly didn't need to see another. So we survived it. I mean, you know, we were going to be, it's going to take laps to get back hooked up. And of course you want to protect the bottom first, but then that also hurts your center corner speed, and 51 was able to cross over and get a run. And I mean, I gave him the space he earned. You know, he earned that spot down there. I was hoping he was just going to run me clean because I was going to, you know, use the top to the best I could. And I think he got loose, and I don't know what happened from there. But just want to thank this whole PD Motorsports team. I mean, this car was tore up after North Wilkesboro. We worked countless hours on this. Mike and my guys at home in Pennsylvania, my dad, James, Brady, Blake, Frank, those guys at home. I mean, they put in so much time to get this car back to work here at the track. And then, of course, I got a great group of guys here at the races that join us. So just want to thank all the people that help us here. Bristol Toyota, right up the street here, local dealership. They support the Speedway here, so support them when you need a vehicle. And first win with Bar Harbor Bank and Trust. I believe it's going to be the first of many with that group. Really looking forward to the future there. And William J. Ross, Collier Trucking, just all the people that help make this possible. And thank you all the fans for coming out today. Really nice crowd here today. I believe the Speedway made a smart, good decision to postpone, knowing yesterday was just going to be iffy. And driving here, we were hitting rain all the way. And when we got here last night, it didn't feel so nice as it does right now today. So thanks to Seekonk Speedway for having this show today, everybody for coming out, and we'll look forward to being back here later this month.
Today, you also accomplished a hat trick here at Seekonk, getting 3 consecutive NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour wins, solidifying you in the history books as one of the few to do so here. Where does that sit on the resume for you, and what does it mean to be one of the few to do so?
Well, this has always been a tough racetrack, but it's a racetrack that I really like. I enjoy coming here. I look forward to coming here, and it's not an easy place to duplicate things or do it 3 times, just because this track is you got to race the track as much as you do the competitors here. And I've lost some tough ones over the years here too by just missing it. So I'm really had a good day to put a whole day together today, start to finish, fastest in practice, won the pole, won the race, led the most laps. I mean, just can't ask for a better day, and we really needed it after what our last day was in North Wilkesboro. So I'm going to enjoy this one for a little bit here and get back to the grind.
Great job today. Now, we talked about the tires earlier. You're actually going to be drawing for the Hoosier set of tires that are going to go to a driver that finishes in the position of the number that you draw here. They're going to get a free set. So we'll go ahead and see what that finishing position was. And the driver who finished in the 22nd position today, which who knows, we're still figuring all of that out on how it unwinded on the final lap, they will receive a free set of Hoosier Racing tires thanks to Hoosier. But congratulations to Matt Hirschman, the number 60, bringing home the win in the J R Precast 150 at Seekonk Speedway and the first leg of the Whelen Short Track Cup.
Well, thank you, Jacqueline, and congratulations to the entire PD Motorsports team. Matt Hirschman getting his 3rd straight here at Seekonk Speedway. The 22nd finisher, by the way, that was the 8 car. John Michael Chanette will get that Hoosier set of tires as they head on to the next race on track, which will take place on June 14th. Another short track on Long Island, Riverhead Raceway, before heading up to New Hampshire and White Mountain Motorsports Park at the end of the month.
That's right. Then they go on to Lancaster, back to Monadnock Speedway for 2 events back-to-back. August 6th, Thompson Speedway, Motorsports Park, and on August 14th, it is Richmond Raceway. Check out the next stop, which is Riverhead Raceway and the Great White Mountain Motorsports Park on June 28th.
You look at this race, Matt Hirschman, 3 wins in a row, 3 poles in a row. He's got the Seekonk Speedway figured out, and he put on a masterful performance here today. Took the lead early on lap 29 and never looked back to another dominating performance here at Seekonk Speedway. Been a great day here for the Whelen Modified Tour. A wonderful display of side-by-side action at the Action Track of the East in the Cement Palace. The crowd was here, and they enjoyed every bit of wheel-to-wheel action. For Ben Dodge, I'm Joe Koss. Thanks for joining us here on Flow Racing, and we look forward to seeing you next time when the Modifieds hit the track at Riverhead Raceway on Saturday, June 14th.